Hey guys, today I've got a review, although it's probably not really a review, it's more me just venting how I feel about these two books. City of Bones by Cassandra Clare and City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. These are the first two books in the Mortal Instruments series. These books have been sitting on my shelf since Christmas, along with City of Glass, and for ages I thought they were just a trilogy, but apparently no, there's 3 other books. There's 6 of them in total. Personally, I'm not sure how I'm going to make my way through 6 of them, because there's a lot about these books that I've read so far that I don't really like and that I find quite annoying. After a while now, there's probably going to be some vague spoilers in this, but consider the fact I've kind of been living under a rock and I've only just finally got around to reading these books. Probably you wonderful people on YouTube have actually read these. So, City of Bones. This book took me probably 3 days to read, and as I was reading, all I was doing was moaning to my mother about characters' stupid decisions and how I wasn't really enjoying it. And then I go on and read City of Ashes in 2 days. And she's like, well, why are you reading the second one if you didn't really like the first one? And this is the problem I have. Because it's probably a 60 or 70% dislike and 30% like of these books. So there are stuff about them that I do like and characters I do like, so I want to continue reading and finding more about these characters. But at the same time, there's so much that annoys me. We'll start off with Clary, the female main protagonist who, City of the Bones, you get it all from her perspective. And City of Ashes, it's mostly her perspective as well, but sometimes you jump to other people. Oh, she is so annoying! I don't think I've been this annoyed by a female lead, or any lead, since Bella Swan into Twilight books. And I only read Twilight and New Moon, because New Moon she pissed me off so much that I couldn't deal with reading the other ones. So Clary gets sucked into this world of shadow hunters and demons and vampires and werewolves, which, okay, is a bit scary and things like that, and obviously she's not used to this. So it's understandable when she freezes and doesn't know what to do. I just find it very annoying, and for numerous reasons, but when I try to articulate them it doesn't seem to come across well. It just seems like I just hate her for no reason. But there is something about her that really bugs me. Probably one of those reasons is because I find her really quite selfish, because there's a whole thing with her best friend Simon, and like he loves her and she doesn't feel the same way, but then as soon as he talks to another girl she suddenly gets really jealous and possessive. And I'm like, well, you clearly have no feelings for this boy besides friendship, so what are you doing getting jealous? And she's also kind of stupid in some ways. Like I say, obviously being such this world of vampires and demons and stuff, obviously she's not going to know everything about it, but at the same time, with creatures like werewolves and vampires, that is something that is in the general mythology of humans anyway, so everyone generally has an idea of what vampires and werewolves do. So when... spoilers for City of Ashes, when Simon is digging himself out of the grave as a new turned vampire, she runs towards him, even though Raphael and Jace and whoever else is there tries to stop her, and she's not listening to Raphael, who is a vampire, and has clearly been a vampire for a few hundred years probably, so knows what he's talking about. And then she's surprised when Simon tries to, suck her blood. He's a newly formed vampire, they've had to get blood so he can drink straight away, and I'm just... ugh. And then the other problem I think I have with this book is because I don't particularly like Jace either, who is the sort of main male protagonist. And if I don't like the 2 main characters, and also the 2 love interests, that's a whole other kettle of fish, I don't feel any empathy for them, so I don't really care what happens to them. Because Jace, he's so arrogant, and while I understand he might not listen to Clary or Simon or Luke, people he's only just met, the fact that half the time, or more than half the time, he doesn't listen or talk to Alec or Isabel when he's grown up with them and they're like his brother and sister, just really grates on me. One of the things that gets me about characters is when they won't communicate to each other, and he just won't communicate, and while I can understand it in a way because of his backstory, it's still super annoying. With the writing of this, a lot of the characters just say witty comments all the time, especially Jace, he's very sarcastic, which I kind of like to start with, because I like family characters, but it gets a bit too much. Everyone making some sort of joke in a situation of peril, or even when if something's really serious and people are in trouble, Jace is still cracking a joke and being sarcastic. And I'm like, can't you see this is serious and you need to pay attention and stop being a child? Then we come on to the love triangle. I'm not a big fan of romance, and this is just getting more and more annoying. The love triangle is between Clary, Simon and Jace. The main problem is, while I get in real life there are instances when two siblings who've never grown up with each other were separated at birth, one was given up to the adoption, one was kept, sort of thing, and they meet and they get strong feelings for each other, and then they find out later that they're actually related. While I understand that does happen, at the same time, I'm like, will you please stop falling in love with your brother and sister and just get on with life and realise this can't happen and just get over it. So all the pining that Clary and Jace does is really super annoying. I think there's quite obvious plot points in these books, or at least I can quite easily see where the narrative's going, especially in City of Bones. I guessed that Clary and Jace were related. I thought they were maybe only half brother and sister. I thought they just had the same mother to start with. Turns out they have the same mother and father. So things like that I guess were coming. Other points as well, I was thinking, well, that's going to happen, and it does, but then it takes ages to get to the thing, and I'm thinking, well, that's about to happen. So the pacing in City of Bones I didn't think was too great. While I kind of understand it, because obviously you start with the author has to introduce the whole world, so that takes some time and explanation. I like to be surprised by books, and so far I haven't really been surprised by these ones. Probably one of my last big negatives is the fact that the writing style isn't that great. There are so many similes and metaphors in the description. Like from the sort of middle of City of Ashes, I just kind of started to skim through the description and not really pay attention to it because it was so whiffy-woffy and fancy. But yeah, the description is, full of similes and metaphors, which gets a bit grating after a while. Why can't you just say it was this instead of it was the sky's colour of rusted metal or something? There's a lot of description to do with metal, I have to say. But saying that, especially in City of Ashes, there is a lot of action which I think comes across quite well. So that does keep me interested. So on to the things I like, and therefore these are the few things that made me go from City of Bones to City of Ashes, and I will pick up City of Glass pretty soon. Whether or not I will actually continue with the other 3 books, I'm not entirely sure. But for the moment, there's a few things that are keeping me interested. And these are those few things. Simon, Clary's best friend. He was the first character I actually liked in these books. And he's still pretty cool. Again, his sort of relationship with Clary annoys me, but at least that's understandable. And he doesn't mess her around like she's done with him. He's funny, clever, and loyal. Another character I like, and I'm interested in reading about more, is Magnus Bane. But at the same time I say this, but we got his whole backstory straight away in City of Bone. Meets Clary and the rest of them for the first time, and okay, he's known Clary growing up and stuff, but she doesn't know this. And he just tells them his life story. And who does that in real life? Or even in, like, books? He's the character, they might say, my name is so-and-so, I do this. You don't get their entire life story of how he had an unhappy childhood and all that sort of crap. So that kind of annoyed me as well, because I would have found it much better if, I presume if he's in the following 4 books, that as his relationship with Alec and the rest of the group grows, you find bits and pieces about him. I like characters that are kind of mysterious. So yes, that annoyed me a bit about Magnus Bane, just suddenly sprouting his life story. Just, who does that? Another thing I like is the whole world of Shadowhunters. I also like Alec and Isabel. I'm liking how they're described as brother and sister. They are a believable brother and sister. So basically I like secondary characters rather than 2 main characters, which isn't a surprise to me because I tend to do like secondary characters a lot. But I do at least usually like the main characters as well. Whereas this one, I really don't care about Clary or Jace. I really don't. Yeah, as you can see, overall there are probably more negatives I found in this book than positives. But there's still something about them that I want to continue reading, or at least, like I say, read City of Glass, and then possibly go and get the other 3 at some point. I think the main problem is that it is very much tell instead of show. And while I could understand that in the first book, City of Bones, because obviously Clary is your eyes and she's coming into this world, so everyone's telling her bits about it, that's continued into the second book. Like I say with Magnus Bane, there was no need for knowing his whole life story straight away. That could have been shown slowly over the series. few of my friends did creative writing at uni, and they got told that just telling people plot points and stuff instead of showing it through the narrative and characters' actions is bad storytelling. And I think that's a problem that these books have, is because at the moment things are very clearly defined. There's a lot of sort of like, oh, you shouldn't do this, but look over here type thing, where things are just being pointed out really obviously to the reader, and it makes me feel as if the author thinks I'm a bit stupid. And I like to think I'm not. I think my main problem is there's too much telling and not enough showing and subtleties. Cassandra Clare seems to be sort of waving a sledgehammer around the place, trying to get you to notice what's going on. I would give both City of Bones and City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare 3 out of 5 each, because, well, like I've just been saying for however long, there is a lot that annoys me, but there are stuff that's done right and interests me, which is actually keeping me reading them. Even though, especially with City of Bones, I really want to give up. Let me know if you've read City of Bones and City of Ashes and what you think of them, whether you agree with me or not. In general, if you've had that with books where there's not much you like in it, but there's something that is keeping you reading, because that would be interesting. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time.